We have the lovely Nico the Pro with us here on the stage. Nico,
Hello.
do you want to reintroduce yourself?
All right, third time's a charm. Hopefully now everything is working fine and you guys can hear me. I was gonna say, I talked to myself a long time before, but yeah, we should be good now. So my name is Nico the Pro. It works, yes. We got confirmation from the chat that it works.
Yay!
This is great. This is awesome. All right, but yeah, I'm Nico the Pro. I'm a Minecraft YouTuber for quite a while now, and I'm also a map maker. I'm most known for making troll and unfair maps, but we're not going to talk about those today. I actually did a panel about those 4 years ago at Cubed, so I'm really excited to be invited again. And yeah, today instead we're going to be doing a talk about Datapacks, but don't worry about it. It's not going to be technical. It's just going to be showing the fun stuff about coding using Datapacks instead of command blocks. So it's more going to be, showing features. And maybe even if you have never created a map before or never got into commands, you should be able to, watch this panel, still understand it, kinda, and also say, wow, this is cool. I want to start making maps. So hopefully that's what you get from this panel. But yeah, everything aside, it's going to be excited. And now, I prepared some slides for this panel, so I'm excited to show them to you guys if we can present them on stream. Oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, I don't know how the stream lag is gonna affect this, by the way. I might try to look them at my locally, but yeah. Oh no, okay, never mind. I can see them fine. All right, so what we'll learn today. Now, I want to say first before starting, disclaimer. This talk it's gonna be, there are gonna be some jokes. It's gonna be pretty funny. I'm gonna say that command blocks are bad. Now, I don't actually mean that. Command blocks are really, and have been for so long, a really reputable way to make maps. You can continue using command blocks if you want, but naturally this data pack is talking about the perks of using data packs. So yeah, so of course I'm gonna say that command blocks are bad and data packs are good, and I'm gonna show you all of the reasons too. But now, if you never created a map before, you can start doing that using Datapacks. And naturally, we're gonna start from the beginning and explain what I'm talking about. This is just a recap. But yeah, after we do this first part where we talk about, fun stuff with map making and command blocks and Datapacks, we're actually gonna look at a tool that I created a while back. I think it was like a month ago or something, that basically will take any map that you have created with command blocks and will basically convert it into a data pack automatically. You just put one command in and it's gonna do the magic. So I cannot wait to show you that in the works. And yeah, then we're gonna try to do the opposite conversion and everything is gonna go wrong. But yeah, so I guess we can get started with the next slide. All right. There is gonna be just a little bit. Okay, yeah, there you go. There is gonna be a little bit of delay on my side because of the stream lag, but yeah, don't worry about it. I think this is the previous slide about me presenting myself. But yeah, all I wanted to say is, other than being a map maker, I'm also a YouTuber and also I create games. I forgot to say that before, but yeah, I'm also a game maker. I worked and I'm still working with a company, Gago, and we are creating a social deduction game called Goose Goose Duck. But yeah. I guess we can go to the next slide now. And someone said cool images, nice. Yeah, thank you. I'm really proud of this slideshow. 100%, yes.
Alright, next slide is up.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess before starting with everything, if the next slide loads, I don't know if it's my stream lagging or anything else.
Alright, I think it's loaded.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, it might be my stream. I'm just gonna look at them locally then. No worries. Okay, there you go. All right, so before starting, as I said, I'm not saying anything bad about Redstone, but yeah, we're gonna be talking about a little bit how it all started. So Redstone spawned into the world in Minecraft 1.5, and yeah, now I'm saying a brief history of Trash, because if you want to make maps and you use Redstone, it's not gonna be pretty. You can make you can code much easier using command blocks and data packs, of course. But this is only limited if you want to create a map. Naturally, there have been some amazing builds done with Redstone. I'm sure the Minecraft world was revolutionized when Redstone came in. I wasn't there when it happened. I actually joined Minecraft in about 1.8, so you could say I'm a little bit late to the party. But yeah, so this is Redstone. This is when it was introduced, and it was really a big thing in the Minecraft community because we're gonna talk about this later. But Minecraft, in a way, became Turing complete. Meaning, Turing complete means that you can basically create a computer inside Minecraft. Any computation that you can do on an actual programming language, you can do it with Redstone. And as soon as Redstone got introduced, I guess that happened. Now in 1.5, I think comparators weren't there, so it might have been a little bit later. But yeah, still, Redstone is a really big change in the map making scene. But yeah, after Redstone, on the next slides, we have command blocks. Now, command blocks were actually introduced in. Okay, well, somebody in the chat is saying comparators were also added in 1.5. I guess I don't know anything. Nice. But yeah, command blocks were also introduced in. Were introduced in 1.4.2, so actually before Redstone. But here, I'm talking about colored command blocks. Why are colored command blocks important? Because as soon as they introduced colored command blocks, yeah, nice. Paul Slipper, you know everything about versioning in Minecraft, nice. But yeah, as soon as colored command blocks got introduced in 1.9, you could actually create maps without using any redstone, but actually by just powering these command blocks, because you had a way to create, I guess, a clock without using a repeater. You could just use a repeating command block and it would get the job done for you. So this was a really big change for Minecraft as well, 1.9. Yeah, and on the next slide, we finally have what we're going to be talking about in this panel. We are going to have the Datapacks, exactly. So finally, Minecraft gods Maya Knight has gifted us Datapacks in 1.13. And now 1.13 was really big for Minecraft as well, because we finally got a new syntax for command blocks. We switched from the old syntax to the new upgraded 1.13 one. And this broke a lot of the maps that I had on Realms and also a lot of the maps I had created. But it was worth it because the new syntax is so much better and more intuitive. And as soon as they added this new syntax, they also made command blocks completely useless. Because once functions were added in, there you go. Once functions were added in, you didn't have to use command blocks anymore. And today I'm going to show you why, I'm going to show you how, and also I'm going to show you why you could switch to Datapacks. So yeah, after this introduction, we should be able to go and actually look at how Datapacks work and how they are different from command blocks. Yeah. All right, so on the next slide, as you can see, we have a command block chain of just 3 commands. So this basically means that we're going to execute these 3 commands in this order. So as soon as you activate the first impulse command block, it's going to activate the other ones as well. And every one of these command blocks has a say command. So it's just going to say hi 1, hi 2, and hi 3. So the top image is how you would do this using command blocks, just placing 3 commands down. If you want to do this using Datapacks instead, all you have to do is create a file, and in this file, every line is a command block. So every time you add a new line, it's like you're adding a new command to the chain. I'm not going to say this is better, this is worse. Right now, I'm just showing you the syntax. This is just the bare minimum you need to actually understand functions. So this is how you do a simple impulse command block chain in functions. And then on the next example, in the next slide, I'm going to show you how you can do the exact same chain, but using repeating command blocks. So yeah, in this slide, we're using, on top, we are just using a repeating command block. So this command block will run code every tick. Basically, every single tick is going to say hi 1, hi 2, and hi 3. So the way we do this with Datapacks is we use the exact same function as before. This is exactly the same. But we also have a different file, which is called tick.json. And now this file right here is basically a list of all of the repeating command blocks, you could say. It's a list of all of the repeating chains. So every single function name, every single file name that you put here, instead of executing whenever you activate it, it's going to execute every single tick. So this is how you do repeating command blocks in Datapacks. So this is how you convert from repeating chains to Datapacks in Minecraft. And yeah, then we just need one more thing, and then we're ready to actually start the talk. We just need one more example. But before going to this new example, that is on the next slide, we also we have to talk about data merge block. No, it's it's on the, you were on the right slide, yeah. On the data merge block slide. Yeah, so what is data merge block? Also, I really love how the emoji shows on screen. Okay, so data merge block, there is a vomit emoji right there, and there is a reason why it's there. I'm gonna talk about it at the end of the panel. So basically, this is how you activate a command block using command blocks. So you know how when you have a command block, it can be on needs redstone or always active. So if a command block is on needs redstone, it means that if you place a block of redstone close to it, it's gonna trigger and it's gonna run the command. Now, instead of placing a block of redstone, which can be a little bit janky, command blocks, map makers, usually what they do is just modify the data of the command block and turn it into always active. So this command block is on needs redstone. They will just change its data and turn it into always active. And this will also trigger the command. So the way we trigger a chain that is distant from us is by just running this command. If I do data merge block xyz auto 1b, I'm just telling that command block at those coordinates to just turn on. So this command right here is just shorthand for turning on a command. Basically, this is all that it does. And now that we know about this little syntax right here, we can go to the next slide, where we're actually going to show the last example of converting code. I'm going to show you how you guys can convert a conditional command block. So I'm sorry for the signs if you guys cannot see the actual command blocks. The chain at the bottom is a repeating chain, and then the next one is a conditional chain command block. So basically what we're doing is we are executing if the block on top of the repeating command block is stone. So if the block there at those coordinates is stone, then it's going to basically run a data merge block, meaning it will activate the chain above. It will activate the inputs chain. So all that command is doing is it's checking if there is a stone block at that coordinates, and if there is, it's going to activate the inputs command block. And that inputs command block is always the same. It's just going to say hi1, hi2, hi3, basically. So this is how you do it using command blocks, and you can already see it's getting a little bit convoluted, especially because right at the end of the chain, there is another command block that is turning off. It's turning off its own chain. So it's doing data merge block and turning itself off. Because if you set a command block to always active, then you have to set it off in order to reset it. So this is already getting a little bit convoluted, but as you can see, the datapack code is still really clear. So all that we are doing is execute if the block on top is stone on the function code. And then if that block is stone, we're not doing any data merge block shenanigans. We're just calling the function. We're just calling hello world. And hello world is the function we were using before. So it just had say hi1, say hi2, and say hi3. And it's exactly the same. So the input function didn't have to change. We just added this line right here, and now this check is working. And the good thing about this is we're putting this in another function that is called the stone checker. And remember, this function, this new chain, is a repeating chain. So we also need to add it in the tick.json. But after we did this, that's it. This is literally the code converted to a datapack. And now I understand if someone doesn't have experience with coding or datapacks in general, this can all go over your head, but don't worry about it. This is just showing you the basic syntax, so then we can talk about the perks of using this syntax. So no problem on that side. But yeah, once you have these building steps, you should be all ready, 100% ready to go, and enjoy the perks of using datapacks. It's really not that hard to convert from command blocks to datapacks. So that said, we can go to the next slide, and we can actually talk about, the main reason we are here. Why are we converting from command blocks to datapacks? Now, there is a reason I am doing it, and it's because it's cooler, okay? Now, I know this might not be the reason you guys are looking for. I'm gonna also talk about other reasons, but for me, this is enough. I don't know if it ever happened to any map makers, but every time I'm making a map, and people ask me what do I do for fun, maybe people outside of Minecraft mostly, or what do I do as a hobby, and I say I create maps, they're like, so you just place some blocks into the world? that is not coding. That is playing a game. So you're not actually a programmer. But if you use Datapacks, you are actually a programmer. You're writing code, and you're using a tool. You're using an IDE, which is basically a fancy word for saying you're using a text editor that can actually help you code. So you're technically a programmer if you use Datapacks. So that's why, I mean, in my book, everyone is a programmer, even builders. But yeah, you're technically a programmer, so that's reason enough for me to use a Datapack. But yeah, probably you guys need different reasons, and this is why this talk is being made. So this is like reason number 0 why you should use a Datapack. But now we can actually go to the next reasons. Okay, so on the next slide, there is no more chunk loading chunk. So basically, this is more personal as a thing. But basically, I don't know if it ever happened to any of you, but sometimes I'm struggling and I'm like, why isn't my command block working? And the reason why it's not working is because the commands are not loaded. So I don't know, never in any programming language you have to worry about your code actually being loaded into memory. That's not a thing you have to worry about. And with Datapacks, you don't have to worry about that. The code is actually run on the Datapack, I guess. So it's not run in the actual world. You don't have to worry about coordinates and stuff like that. So yeah, chunk loading is gone. I know you can use force load, but also force loading a bunch of chunks is not ideal. So this is the first reason why Datapacks are better. Let's go to the next reason. Next reason is gonna actually be fun for you guys, because commenting code. Now, you can see the sign at the bottom. When you actually make command block chains, you don't need to write what they are about. You're not forced to actually give a name to the chain. So as you can see in the code above, I'm actually writing hello world, stone checker, and these files actually represent different chains. So I'm actually forced to give a name to the file because the file cannot be unnamed. At the bottom instead, I can write, like, I can do anything I want. I can even hide a command block like underground. Nobody is gonna know that it exists. I'm probably gonna forget it exists, but it's probably gonna do something really bad that is gonna destroy my map making abilities. And the only way I can fix it then is either doing a field command that destroys all command blocks next to me, or use mcedit, which is really annoying. Or also, I don't know, disable command blocks if I'm on a server, but still, it's really annoying. Instead, using Datapacks, it can be much better. But yeah, so this is why commenting code is easier with Datapacks, but also, other than writing a function name, you can also, how should I say, you can also write some comments as well. So as you can see, you can write comments using signs, but it's really convoluted in command blocks. With the Datapack, you can write a bunch of comments on the same command, and they can be as long as you want. So you can be really descriptive with them. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Oh, by the way, guys, are we good on time, or like should I move a little bit faster if okay, that's awesome. That's great. All right, so okay, this is the moment of truth because hopefully we don't have trouble with this as well. This is where the first video is gonna come in. So I'm gonna show you actually coding using Visual Studio Code and why it's convenient. So I guess are you guys able to play the video? It should be the first one. So basically, thanks to Visual Studio Code, you are able to, I mean, with any IDE actually, not just Visual Studio Code, but you can use this one. It has libraries to make Datapacks work. Yeah, okay, there you go. You guys are seeing it. You can actually search for the code. Oh, this is one. Okay, yeah, this one is a different video. Sorry, I might have misnamed them. This one is actually about finding errors. So if there is an error in your code, as you can see, there is going to be some red squiggly lines, and if you hover over the arrow, it's going to tell you exactly what the error is, and also the file is going to be marked in red. So this is a really great thing. But yeah. Okay, yeah, this is the video instead about searching it up. As you can see, I'm going to search hi, and it's going to tell me exactly where I wrote hi in the other function. And also, every time I'm activating a function, when I'm doing function unfair hello world, I can actually click on the text, and it's going to bring me to that function. So you know how in Minecraft, there is like a data merge block? So you're activating a command block that is like really far away, and you have no idea where it is. or like you're trying to TP there, but you don't know which one it is. Here there is no problem. You can go from one chain to the other really quickly. So you really can understand the flow of your code much better. And when Datapacks were first introduced, I was really skeptical. I was like, oh, I coded with command blocks for so long. Why should I switch to Datapacks today? But yeah, this is really convenient. So yeah, this is about finding code. And also, you can find code even without using a fancy text editor. With Datapacks, you can see the entire chain at once. So like you see all of the commands at once, one per line. In Minecraft, you can only see one command at once. So even if we didn't have fancy editors, Datapacks were still better on this regard. So yeah. Yeah, plugins that make suggestion with Datapacks. Yeah, there is actually a plugin in Visual Studio Code called Datapack Helper. That's the one I'm using. It actually has really good syntax. And actually, that is what we're gonna show next. So the next slide is about finding bugs in Datapacks. And we already covered that because we already saw that video. And the next video is actually about how writing code is easy. And it's gonna be video number 3, hopefully. If I didn't misnumber them again. All right, yeah, this is video number 3. So in Minecraft, we do have a syntax highlighting. So when you start typing execute if block, it will type for you. But in Visual Studio Code, this is much more advanced. So as you can see, I'm checking if like the MBT is of a certain, for example, the command block, I'm checking if the MBT of the success count is 1, and it's actually suggesting me the MBT data. So it's actually suggesting me the JSON as well. And right here, I'm doing if the type is player, then do this MBT. And as you can see, the MBT it suggests me depend on the type that I selected. So it's giving me the dimension tag only because I'm specifying a player. If I was specifying an armor stand, it would give me the show arms tag, for example. So it's like, it's really dynamic and it really suits you. Another thing that you can do is when you create a tell row and you're doing like an on-click event, inside the on-click event, you can actually write some code and it will parse it. It's a really small thing, but it helps you to debug, because if there is an error in that code, you don't need to debug a lot in order to find it, but it's going to tell you there is an error inside the tell row as well. It's going to tell you if JSON is malformed. It's going to tell you if on-click events are malformed. So it's going to tell you a lot of things that maybe normal Minecraft wouldn't tell you. Or maybe they would give you an exception, but they wouldn't give you the exact exception. So all of the stuff about parsing commands, it's much better here. And this is just one simple example, but by just coding, you will realize how much funnier it is to code with this system. And if you're struggling, how much easier it is to remember the command by using, Datapacks. All right, so I guess this video is done, and now we can go to the next slide, which is gonna kind of, I don't know, it's gonna be kind of the opposite of what I'm trying to convey, because Visual Studio Code sometimes is bad as well. All right, so basically, Copilot is a handy feature of GitHub. Now, you can use it in many languages. It's basically an artificial intelligence that is supposed to read your own code and also read the code of other people and try to automatically suggest new lines of code based on your prompt. Now, this doesn't work as well with Minecraft, maybe because not enough people are using it, or maybe because my code was just bad. But basically, I gave it as an input these lines of codes, and it basically told me that it's not sure if this code will work. This is the prompt that I got. I'm not sure if this is the best way to do it, but it works. I'm sure there is a better way to do it, but I'm not sure. So I didn't write any of this. GitHub Copilot wrote it automatically for me. So that was crazy. So this is the image above. The image at the bottom is actually a prompt that I gave it. I gave it make a bold tell row saying you are bad. Now, it actually did a tell row command, so that was correct. The problem is that link there, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you can probably guess what it is. Oh no, some people already went there. Yeah, I don't know why it did that. Now, jokes aside, that link was actually inside the map itself, because I'm a troller, I make troll maps. So it probably got the link from my own map, But yeah, that's a trolling. That's not exactly what I asked it to do. But yeah, I guess it works. But yeah, basically Copilot is this artificial intelligence that automatically writes code for you, and it kind of works in Minecraft as well. So that's cool. In the next slide, I'm gonna show you some examples of where it actually kind of worked. But yeah, even here, I guess it's really useful if you don't remember the syntax. But if you actually remember the syntax, it's easier to write it. I told it to make it a scoreboard for player to track their choice, and it correctly said the scoreboard objectives add the choice dummy. So that was correct. Also, I told it to make a standing scoreboard go up if the block below is air. And this is actually correct. I didn't write anything else. I just wrote that comment, and it wrote that line of code. So that is actually, that actually works. Now, I tried telling it to make it relative to the player, and it wasn't able to do it. It can only make it relative to the data pack itself, which doesn't make any sense. But I guess that works. Like, if you don't remember the syntax, yeah, that worked. Yeah, I was really excited as well. This is really cool. I really wish more people, I don't know, download Copilot, so maybe it gets better with the MC function. I don't really know how it actually learns and trains. That would be a really good video, I guess, to do in the future. But yeah, that's exciting. And also, I told it to do a def counter, and it actually did. But now, disclaimer: I actually had a def counter in my map, so it's possible. It's possible it just copied the code. I have no idea if he cheated or if he actually was smart. But either way, he was smart at cheating, so I guess that is something. Anyway, yeah, now that we talked about Copilot as well, I have one last cool perk to show you before we move on to the second part of the panel. And this perk is about fireworks, but really anything that has to do with colors. So I guess I can play the video for you guys. So basically, with Visual Studio, every time you input an Xcode, like some color, like an example when you're making fireworks, you can actually modify the color from within the IDE as well. So you can click on the color and you can color pick it, which is really, really, really cool. And I think in 1.13 they introduced custom colors. So yeah, this is really exciting. Also, you see that yellow squiggly line on Firework Rocket? When you see that squiggly line, that is actually a suggestion, and you can actually click on it, and it's gonna suggest how to improve your code. In this case, it wanted to add quotations to make the code, I guess, more stable, or like not stable, but more syntactically correct, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, that is just how the warning works, just a yellow squiggly line. And yeah, these were the main perks of the data pack I wanted to talk about. But now, if we go in the next slide, there is actually one more reason why you should use Datapacks. And oh, also, I just realized I forgot I'm here in Minecraft as well. I wasn't moving my hand at all. Yeah, I'm just looking at slides and at the stream at the same time, so I'm getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. But yeah, there is... Oh, hello there. Hi. I see the stream is looking at me right now. Hello. But yeah, looking at the slides, there is one more reason you should use Datapacks, but you're gonna discover it right at the very end. And this is the reason why we're gonna go at this little fun detour with my converter tools. Because the next question that you want to ask is, okay, Nico, coding in Datapacks is really fast and really fun, but I'm really too used to command blocks. So yeah, this is on the next slide. But yeah, I'm really used to command blocks. So how can I make the switch? So I don't know how to make the switch. How can I make it more easily? And the way you can do it is using my datapack converter. It's basically a tool that with just one command is going to take all of the command blocks in your Word and it's going to translate them into one single datapack. So you don't have to do any work. It's going to all be done by me, except it's not going to work sometimes because, the custom tools. We're going to talk about it. But yeah, this is how you can more easily convert the command blocks or to datapacks. And naturally, as I've shown before, if you already have some experience with commands, it's really easy to convert. It's just that maybe at the beginning you're not used to it. So this tool could help you, or could also show you how the datapacks work. So on the next slide, I'm actually going to show you the tool. Of course, the tool is made in Python, because naturally, but I guess it's the fastest I wanted to actually make the tool using Datapacks, but then I realized it was going to be either really hard or impossible. But yeah, I'm using Python to create this tool. And basically, all that it's doing is it will accept as an input the path of your world. So basically, the path to your Minecraft world. And also, it will take as an input some coordinates, which is basically the first corner and the last corner it should detect. So it's like a fill command, basically. But instead of filling the entire area, it's going to take all of the command blocks in that area and turn them into air and convert them into datapack. And also, we have some optional arguments. So you can name your datapack a custom name. You can also force delete an existing datapack. You can delete the commands immediately after you run the command. You can also randomize the functions. This is something I didn't talk about before, but basically, with Datapacks, if you actually have the datapack on a server, there is no way the user can find the commands. So it's much harder for the user to cheat, I guess. Yes, if they are opt, they can disable the datapack, but someone that doesn't know anything about Minecraft, they will not be able to cheat. So this is also something cool for you. And if you randomize the function names, you are actually going to be, how should I say, much more in the clear, because it's going to look like complete gibberish, and people will not be able to cheat. Oh, by the way, someone was like, could someone link his YouTube, please? Yeah, with great pressure. You can just find me at youtube.com/NicoThePro. Thank you for making me give myself a shout out. Yeah, so then there is also silent warnings, because there is a problem with this converter, which is naturally if some command blocks dynamically turn themselves into air, my command block converter will not be able to detect this. Like, if I have some code that griefs itself, like turns itself into air, that is not good. That is a no-go. So my converter is gonna throw some warnings saying this is not allowed. But yeah, I guess this is it for the converter. I think now we can actually see it run and see how it looks. And now a converted map looks. Now, I don't know if the Happy Wheels is in the chat. Yeah, he is. But yeah, we're actually going to convert a map of the Happy Wheels right now. This is an unfair map he created. And he used some really bad command blocks with a vomit emoji instead of the O. And as you can see, I'm just getting the coordinates of these command blocks and going to put them into my converter. And it's going to finally take these commands and turn them into air. And so they're going to disappear off the face of the earth. But magically, the map is still going to work. As you can see, it's loading all of the blocks. It's generating all of the chains. And now, as you can see, I'm going to go back into Minecraft, and the command blocks are gone. And if we actually go inside the map is still going to be playable. Now, I'm going to talk about when it's not going to be playable, but right now, as you can see, we are playing the map, and all of the stuff executes correctly. So, at example, you need to make cake in this section of the map, and it works with no command blocks. And this is a different map that I converted, Unfair Nico. Everything looks fine. I didn't want to show much about this map because it's an unfair map, so it's a puzzle map. I didn't want to spoil it. But yeah, this is all working great. Okay, so going back to the slides now, I'm gonna show you just briefly how the converter works. I'm not gonna go into the boring Python code. I'm just gonna divide this in like 3 sections. So the first thing that I'm doing is taking the region files from the Minecraft world. So taking the actual files where the blocks are stored and converting them into a block object in Python. Then I'm taking this block object and I'm finding all of the close blocks to it so I can generate chains. So first I get all of the blocks individually. Then I take all of the blocks and convert them into chains. Then I take all the chains and convert them into datapack. And now the next 3 slides are basically going to be me explaining more in detail how this works, I guess. Oh, nice. Happy is in the chat. Yeah, that's my map. Yeah. All right. So on the next slide, I'm basically using a library called Anvil. That is a really cool library. Luckily, thanks to this library, I didn't have to parse the regions myself, but I actually just told this Python library to do it for me. There is an updated version of the library called Anvil New that is updated for, I guess, 1.10 plus, because they changed the stuff in that version. And yeah, so I'm basically getting all of the regions, and then I'm turning those regions into chunks. I'm turning those chunks into blocks. And at the end of this procedure, this is what I get back. So for every single block that the user has selected, I get back its ID, its properties, Properties are basically the stuff in the square brackets. So whether the command block is conditional and stuff like that. And then I get the MPT, which is whether the command block is active, whether it was successful, stuff like that. And then XYZ is just the coordinates of the command block, which will return useful for the next step. So this is the first part. You don't have to worry about how it's done. It's just a lot of code. I mean, not a lot, but a bunch of, just getting the library to work. The next slide is actually converting from blocks to chains. I guess this is the most, I don't want to say the most complicated, but the most weird part about the Python code. Maybe really badly commented, really bad on my part, but yeah. By the way, the code is on my GitHub. I'm going to show at the end the link to it if you guys want to check it out for yourself. So for every command block, I'm basically finding the command block closer to it. And if they are in the correct orientation, I'm turning that into a chain. Now, every single chain will have an ID, a name, and basically the name depends on whether there is a sign attached to the chain or not. So I'm just going to take signs nearby from the word and turn them into comments, basically. So every chain will have an ID, a name, a display name. Well, it's just basically the name, but with spaces. And then every chain will have a list of command blocks. So that chain argument right there is a list of command blocks. And then finally, we're going to see if the command block is, the chain is repeating or not, because that's also something we need. And then every single command block in the chain is going to have a bunch of data as well. So we're going to check what the command actually is. So the value of the command, because I guess that's useful. If the command block is always active or needs redstone, that is auto. Is relied on basically means if there is a command block that is conditional, that is relying on this command block. I don't know, if it's confusing, don't worry about it. But it's basically the opposite of conditional. It's like if it's conditioned on, something like that. Then we're checking if it's conditional, and also who is conditioning it. So a bunch of stuff. This is just to ease the next step. But yeah, I'm just getting all of this data from the MBT and the properties. Then whether the command block ran successfully the last time it ran, and also the type of command it is, because it could be I guess it could only be a chain command block, so I don't know why that is there. It could also be a repeating an input command block if it's the first command of the chain. So yeah, this is why the block ID is there. But yeah, this is it for converting from command blocks to chains. And then the last step is converting from chains to a full-fledged datapack. And now, the way that I'm actually doing this is, how every single time you place a command block, that command block has some properties, like whether the command block is always active, is conditional, stuff like that. All of these properties, instead of storing them in the command itself, I'm storing them in the storage. So I'm storing them away in a different place, which is called Minecraft storage. So I'm basically doing data merge storage and dumping all of the data there. And then every single time I want to call a function, so every single chain, naturally, I put it into a different file, like I showed at the beginning of the panel. So every single chain is going to be in a different file. Every single repeating chain is going to be in the tick.json file also, so that it is repeating. So all of that stuff is correct. But then we also need to check if a chain is always active or needs redstone. And this is why we're using the data merge storage. So every time we want to check if a chain is active or not, I'm going to check if that location in the storage is true. If that is the case, then I'm going to execute the line in the datapack. If not, I'm not going to execute that line. This is like roughly how it works. It's a little bit more complicated because of conditional properties. So I have to check also, I don't tell you have to check if the command block is active, but also if the command block is relying on was successful in the previous tick. But the skeleton of how it works is this, basically. And the problem with the converter is that it cannot manage any redstone. So remember how I said before that in Minecraft, you can activate a chain of command blocks using data merge block. You can actually, the way you actually do it using Datapacks is by just calling the function, by doing function name. So all of the stuff that I'm doing is basically turning all of the data merge block into function calls. But if you activate a command block chain by setting a redstone block or setting a redstone torch, I'm not going to be able to detect it. So it's not going to work. It's going to throw a warning and it's going to tell you that something might go wrong. But yeah, the conversion will not work. So if you're doing something like that in one of your maps, you probably have to step in, fix that first, and then convert it. But if you're not using any redstone at all, it should be pretty simple to use this tool. And all right, I guess we can go to the next slide now that we show how it works. And I can actually show you the gibberish that it generates, because I showed you how it looks on the Minecraft side. But this is an example, another map by the Happy Wheels. It's called Unfair Void. And this command right here is supposed to spawn some particles that are supposed to be always active in the map. So as you can see, I'm checking if the location in the storage is true. So if the command block with ID 1 is activated, and if this condition is true, only if that condition is true, then I'm gonna run the particle command. I'm also executing in the end because Happy, I don't know why Happy, but you made the map in the end, and it actually broke my converter because it was really used to executing commands in the overworld. So that's why I added a dimensional argument to the converter, thanks to this mishap. But yeah, this is why it's executing the command in the end. But the important part is that it's only executing it if the command block is always active. So only if that MBT tag is set to true. And in the next slide, I'm actually going to show you how a repeating command block is called. Yeah, making the map in the end was a challenge for the converter. The map itself was a challenge as well. I had to cheat. Okay, yeah, this next function, it might be a little bit confusing, so don't worry about it. Remember when I said that all of the data merge block, I'm turning them into a function call? I actually lied. I'm not turning them into a function call directly, but I'm turning them into a function activate call. So I'm basically calling another function that is called activate the ID of the command, that basically is changing the value in the storage. It's changing the values in the storage to always active, and it's making sure the success of the command is set to false. So if that command block is also conditional, since it's running again, it's going to be unsuccessful by default. So this is why I'm doing this. I couldn't just call the function because I also needed to set it to always active in order to make this conversion work. So it's a little bit more complicated than I explained it, but the basic logic behind it is this. And then in the next slide, I'm actually going to show you the tick function, which basically is every single command in this function gets executed every tick because it's in the tick.json. And as you can see, this function will contain every single repeating command block. And you can see that I'm checking if every one of these command blocks is active. And then if it is, I'm running the function. And the function is basically the rest of the chain. So an example, there is the destroy parkour chain, which I guess destroy some blocks while you're working on them, because this is a troll map. And this chain gets executed only if this command block is active. And this destroy parkour name actually got this name only because Happy put a sign close to the command block, to the repeating command block. And this is why this function has this name. So this is how it works. Repeating command blocks that kill anyone named Nico the Pro if they are in creative. Well, my name, luckily, is with a 0 at the end, so that wouldn't work. Yeah, Nico, the actual Nico the Pro name is reserved, so I don't have it. I'm gonna get it at some point, hopefully, but yeah, the player that actually owns it, I was never able to contact him, so yeah, that's or them, I don't know who they are. Okay, so now that we did this and the converter actually works sometimes, what about the opposite converter? We did conversion from commands to datapacks. Why can't we do the opposite? I mean, datapacks are really clean, so it should be easier, right? And this is what I thought, and this is actually what I wanted to do, you know? I created a video on this topic, and I was like, okay, I can do a second video with like half the amount of effort, and it's gonna be still fun, but I guess not. I guess it's not gonna work, and you guys are gonna learn why it's not gonna work right at this moment. So if we go to the next slide, you will be able to see the command. This is still written in Python, by the way. Yes. And it's really similar to how the other one works. The only difference is instead of passing a word path, you pass the datapack that you want to convert. And basically you pass the coordinates where you want the commands to be located. So basically this will take any datapack, will delete it, and turn it into command blocks. And you can also define how the command blocks are going to look. So how far away they are from each other. and how long the chains are going to be, stuff like that. Or sorry, not how long the chains, but how many chains per row and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the command. I'm not going to show you how it works in Python because it's literally the same, but the opposite. So everything I said before, you're doing the opposite conversion, basically. But yeah, I'm going to show you how it actually works, or rather, how it actually doesn't work in the next slide. And it's actually the last video, so luckily videos, we were able to broadcast them. That's great. Okay, so this is actually me converting mechanism. That is a datapack map I created. And as you can see, it works. The command blocks are actually spawned into the world, and it looks great until it doesn't, until the entire map glitches out and starts going crazy. And I think I know why the map glitched out. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, basically, this map contains a bunch of puzzle levels, and I'm checking if a level is completed. Like, I'm first loading the level in the map, and then I'm checking if it's completed. But these two operations are happening out of order. So I'm first ending the level because there is no level, so it's completed. And then I'm loading it in. And this is why levels keep loading in one after the other, and the map completely breaks. But you guys might say, why is this happening? Why are command blocks being executed out of order? You did the exact same converter. Why did it work one way, but it didn't work the other way? And this is what we're going to be looking at right now in the next slide. So basically, remember back at the beginning of the talk where I said a data merge block with a vomit emoji instead of, just using data merge block? Well, the reason for that is data merge block has a delay. Every time you try to execute a command block using data merge block, it actually doesn't execute immediately, but it executes the next tick. So a tick is 1/20th of a second, so it takes like 1/20th of a second every time you call data merge block. So what does this mean? You can see the code on the left, or sorry, the right. So you can do say hi1, and then you can call a function that will say hi2, and then you can do say hi3. Now below there is the output, and as you can see, the output is in the correct order. It's going to be hi1, hi2, hi3. But now, if you actually try to do this using data merge block, so you do say hi1, then data merge block, and then say hi3, by your surprise, if you try to do this in Minecraft, the output is going to be in the wrong order. So hi1 is going to execute first, then hi3 is going to execute, and hi2, the data merge block command, is going to only execute the next tick. So this is why the opposite conversion doesn't work. You literally remember when I was doing the datapack conversion and I was turning data merge block into those activate functions? When I was doing that, unknowingly, I was adding a 1 tick delay because I was doing data merge storage, which works similarly. So without knowing about this problem, I solved it in the first iteration. But now, when I'm trying to do the same thing backwards, it doesn't work because Minecraft command blocks are delayed. And now, in the next slide, we're going to talk about something that doesn't have anything to do with this, but I just wanted to add it in because I thought it was fun. And basically, yeah, you might say, Nico, but there must be a way to convert from datapacks to command blocks because both systems are Turing complete. We talked about Turing complete at the beginning of the panel. Basically, it means that you can execute any electronic operation on the using that system, using that programming language. So you can simulate the computational aspects of any real-world general-purpose computer, blah, 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 stuff like that. So if both languages are Turing complete, how is this impossible? Well, the reason why this is impossible is not because it's impossible. It's because command blocks are just slower. Like, okay, you can execute any computation on them, but there is always going to be that delay. So the stuff that you can do in Datapacks in X amount of ticks, in command blocks, you need to have more ticks. And since Minecraft has physics and stuff like that relies on time, a general purpose converter is not going to work. You can probably modify your datapack in order to make it work. Somebody smarter than me can probably do it, add the correct amount of delay in order to make it work. But just trying it out myself, just a simple conversion, doesn't work. And on the next slide, I'm gonna show an example of this. I really just wanted to include this into a panel. This is why I'm talking about this. All right, so I don't know if anyone of you guys knows about Conway's Game of Life. It's basically a game where you have an initial position of black pixels, which are basically alive. They could be white too, but I guess in this example they are black. And based on the neighboring pixels, so if each pixel has like a neighbor of 3 pixels, now I don't know the rules, but based on the neighbors, in the next iteration, the pixel can either turn white or it can duplicate. And just thanks to these really simple rules, you can actually create a Turing-complete system. I know, that's crazy. When I found out about this, it's like literally crazy. If you guys don't know what, like I talked about what Turing complete means, but Turing complete means that you can run any operation in this. Like you could, I don't know, you can find pi, you can find Fibonacci numbers, you could run Minecraft. I mean, it's crazy to run Minecraft in Conway's Game of Life, but just using these pixels, you can run anything. And there is a talk that I watched a while ago, which actually opened my eyes. So if you guys are interested in this sort of stuff, I suggest watching The Art of Code. It's a really cool talk, and they actually try to replicate Conway Game of Life inside Conway Game of Life. So it becomes like a meta game, a game inside of game. And it's like, it's really crazy, and it shows stuff like that. So this is why I really wanted to include it into this talk, even if it didn't make any sense. But yeah, this is just to show you that only because something is Turing complete doesn't mean that it's gonna be fast. And this is why. But yeah, I think this is almost everything that I wanted to say. The next slide is just iterating the point. It's saying that command blocks are, have an hidden repeater inside of them. Now, this repeater is not properly a repeater. It's more, how should I say, it's half a repeater, because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't use redstone in a really long time, but a repeater I think is 1/10 of a tick, because redstone ticks are like, there are 10 redstone ticks every second, if I'm not wrong. So this should be half a repeater. But like there is a half repeater hidden inside any command blocks. And when you try to activate a chain, it only activates on the next tick. So there is this hidden repeater that you don't know that it exists, but it does. And remember when I said there is one more reason why datapacks are bad? Sorry, command blocks are bad. If you go to the next slide, this reason is revealed to all of you guys. And the reason why datapacks are good and GigaChad is because they don't have any delay, no unwanted delay, which is, it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. Because the bad thing is if you run a function recursively, so if you create a function that calls itself, you can actually break Minecraft because it's gonna try to execute code infinite times inside the same tick. So with just one command, you can just, like, if you create a function called hello and do function hello inside of it, with only that file, you put that file inside a datapack, you crush the entire server. So yeah, that's a, I don't know if you needed to know that, but if you have access to a server, I'm just kidding, I'm not condoning any of this, but yeah, that's an easy way to crush a server. No, I didn't say Datapacks bad. No, don't clip me. No. That was a mistake. Anyway, guys, this was really exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed the talk. Now I'm gonna leave some space for questions. And if you guys want to actually find me, okay, there is an O missing at on my YouTube. That is actually funny because my name actually has a 0 instead of an O. Wait, can I actually? I don't think I can fix it live. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube / youtube.com/ Nico_the_pro with an O. I actually was able to reserve that name. And yeah, you can also find me on GitHub and stuff if you want to look at the source code. It's also linked on my YouTube channel, so, you know. All right. Ooh, that's a good question. Like, I don't know how much I want to spoil, because the problem with me is that I want to work on many projects, but most of the time I leave some incomplete, and then people are like, when is this coming up? So I'm not gonna spoil anything. Before working on this Datapack stuff, I was working on a map, But I'm not gonna talk about how much it is completed. It's not completed at all. But I was working on a map. I had an idea. All I wanted to say is it's not gonna be an unfair map, but it's also not gonna be a serious map. But yeah, I'm not gonna tell you anything about that. Yeah. Oh, by the way, while people are waiting for a question, there was actually a guy on my Discord that asked me a question, but I guess he wasn't able to. I don't know if he was able to join or not. So I can just relay his question, I guess. So oh, I mean, I can do unfair cubed. I don't know. It could be fun. Okay, that's gonna be my next map before the one that I talked about. Yes, confirmed. Oh, okay. I'm not even looking at Minecraft chat. How do I get clothing and hats and stuff? I don't think that's meant for me. See, someone is asking me about unfair cube. Yeah, the problem with that map is that it's halfway done, but the command blocks are in like 1.12, and I'm not gonna convert them. And yeah. Oh, by the way, about this, there are some like stuff. There is some stuff like the stuff that I talked about today. There are some people that created some even crazier tools, and I wanted to showcase those, but they are not ready yet, and I didn't get permission. So as soon as they are ready, I'm probably gonna make more content on them, and it's gonna be pretty exciting. Like similar to this stuff, like converting from commands to datapacks, but something different. A panel question via Discord. Which Discord? There are many Discords. Is it just on general, or I guess if you guys want to send questions, you can send them through the chat. Like I'm looking at chat now. Oh, I needed to relay that question from that guy. So Team CJ was asking if I'm gonna paraphrase it a bit, but basically it was like we went from Redstone to commands to datapack, so we're always getting more abstract, and we're always writing more and more code. He asked me if we're ever gonna get into a point where we will able to literally write code more distant to Minecraft. So sort of like write code in Python or stuff like that, and if I would like that. And I don't know if we're ever gonna get to that point, but I would really love it. Like I went from command blocks to datapacks for that reason, because I thought they looked cooler. Going the extra step and maybe having some extra APIs, like in Bedrock, where you can create basically mods as easily as datapacks, and you can like I guess yeah, you can request some external code and you can write in Python in C sharp. It would be really really dope. So that answers that. Oh, you can, yeah, yeah. So I guess this was the same question the Team CJ asked, but it's good that you asked it as well. Yeah, this is literally what I just answered. Hopefully so. I really hope they. I guess one thing that I want uh, for Datapacks, but I don't know if it's gonna come soon. Also because it's not really that requested, is like if statements. So right now you can create if statements using Datapacks by doing what I showed. So by just doing an execute if command and then doing a function call. But it would be really cool to do if statements without going into a different function. So that would be great. But yeah, then again, my converted would not work then. So I don't know how pleased I would be with that update. But yeah, it would be really cool. Yeah, this is the end of the panel, but like I'm just here answering questions if there are any. I like I so happy. I don't know. It could be my eyes deceiving me, but like I so happy at the behind the stage, like just like lurking. Yeah, I was like, what? How much of this is usable in 1.12? Okay, I found this question. Well, considering 1.12 doesn't have datapacks, it's not going to be much useful. But there was like, okay, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I guess I could say it, but it might come in the future, it might not happen. There could be ways to convert commands from different versions of Minecraft. But naturally, this is something that might come in the future. Some people were developing this, and I don't want to take credit for this because I have zero credit in this. But I saw the work they done, and it's really amazing. And I can't wait for that to come out if it ever does. But yeah. So in theory, if you use that system that is still not ready, and then you use my converter, it should work. This is a hard question because like at the beginning, like the first time, for anyone that doesn't know what an unfair map is, it's basically a troll map. But yeah, the first troll maps that I created were pretty difficult. I guess the first one, Unfair Minecraft, towards the end wasn't difficult because there were checkpoints, but Unfair Nether and Unfair End were pretty brutal. So yeah, I feel like at the beginning of the format, where people weren't used about troll maps, it would be really fun to make them more difficult. But I guess now unfair maps are more about the team, and now you can I don't know, put them against a team basically instead of doing the unfair map itself. And so this is why I don't think they should be that difficult. Like, or if they are difficult and unforgiving, every time you fail into a troll, it should not tell you the solution, but hint you at the solution, so you don't get stuck over and over and try again. I mean, I guess unfair maps are sort of puzzle maps as well. So a rule with puzzle maps and game making is always create a puzzle so that the person is challenged, but at the same time, he doesn't think that he's stupid when he's solving it. So he has to feel smart. Like it's a really hard thing to do, but you have to create a puzzle that is hard enough to be challenging, and at the same time, it has to be easy enough so the person doesn't feel stupid. And also, when they find the solution, they actually think they're pretty smart. I mean, they are pretty smart, but you're gonna leave some hints here and there to make them go into the solution. Thank you guys for having me. And by the way, if you guys have any more questions, you can find me on Discord as well. Like I have it in the slides. Just Nico the Pro #5337. So yeah, if you guys want to keep talking about it, you can just send me a message.